30 to get round as Ferrari prepare themselves. They're drying the pit exit there, the pit box for Michael Schumacher. Barrichello out of the race. Button leads by 3.4 seconds. Frentzen is from Michael Schumacher down to 2.7, look, during the course of this current lap.
And I think that probably is Button just up there on the horizon. Schumacher can now see him at the end of the short straight here at Indianapolis. It's only a matter of time before the inevitable happens, and Michael Schumacher, who has finished twice here and won once in the 3 Grand Prix we've had at Indianapolis, he owns this place, literally. And he will be snaffling up Jenson Button. And just a little note, we're only on lap 35 of 73 here at Indianapolis, but if the positions stay as they are, then Michael Schumacher will be the world champion going away from here this afternoon. Kimi Räikkönen is down in 4th place, and Juan Montoya is 9th. But as I say, a lot can still happen here.
If it's going to dry out, Räikkönen will come straight back into it. Michael Schumacher looking very handy though, just 1.5 down. There's the gap between first and second. Button has driven nicely at the head of the field, and he lost 1.9 seconds on that particular, not 1.9 seconds on that particular tour, but Räikkönen's kept himself in the reckoning, James. Despite being on the wets, he's still only 12.6 seconds behind the leader.
And the one advantage he does have is a teammate who's out there on dry weather tyres, on a drying track. It's not been raining now for a few minutes, and as soon as David Coulthard radios in that the dries are the tyres to be on, then I would imagine Räikkönen will react, won't he?
He will, as Wilson getting it out of shape under braking for turn 8 again, and there come the leaders then to lap him. And car 5, David Coulthard, under investigation for something, being on the wrong tyres possibly. That's quite bizarre what's going on there. Looking forward to hearing what that's all about. He's still something like 10 seconds per lap adrift, despite them having pitted and putting on dry tyres again. Bizarre. This is for the lead then. Schumacher on the banking in the slipstream, surely got a few clicks more than Jenson Button. How aggressive is Button going to be to defend this lead of the Grand Prix? And Michael will have to come down the wetter inside. Jenson can keep it round the outside, but Michael carries more speed through the apex. Well, he didn't give up too easily.
No, didn't seem to come across to cover his inside line though too much, did he?
I think he probably thought Michael wouldn't go onto that piece of the track that was so wet. I think Jenson wanted to keep himself a chance of a decent line through turn 1. He took up all of the dry-ish part of the track. Michael thought, well, I'll have a go at that then, which was pretty brave considering the championship's up for grabs.
Ferrari mechanics moving down in front of us. They're getting some dry weather tyres ready and prepared for whatever the right moment is that Michael Schumacher decides he wants to switch over onto dry tyres. He leads the Grand Prix here at Indianapolis, and it really has all come towards him with the weather conditions changing as they have throughout this extraordinary 52 minutes we've had so far of this Grand Prix, and we're only just at half distance.
Yeah, I don't see anybody else out in the pit lane drying their pit garage box for their driver. Imagine there'd be 100 Ferrari people out there breathing on the first 100 metres to give him a good getaway. Doesn't need it at the moment. He now leads the Grand Prix. Let's see what this lap is for Michael. He lost a bit of time passing Button. He goes over the line with a 1:19.4. Coulthard has driven straight through the pits. It's a time penalty for speeding in the pit lane for David Coulthard. So that's put him even further out of contention. He's running effectively 15th out of 16 now. This man leads the Grand Prix by a second from Jenson Button. Räikkönen is 13.7 seconds behind Michael Schumacher. What are we going to see here? It's Michael, well, what we're seeing then is the Renault just falling off the racetrack, basically.
There's Jenson Button just in the heat haze from the back of the Ferrari, running very strongly in second place. And let's not forget that BAR are locked in a pretty tight championship battle with Jaguar and Toyota. It certainly doesn't look as though Toyota are going to do much here this afternoon. But Jaguar looking quite good a while ago with Justin Wilson, but he's now dropped out of the points-paying positions. He's down into 10th place, is Justin Wilson, unfortunately. His teammate Mark Webber is out of the Grand Prix, having gone off the track in the heavy rain. Jenson Button, if he can maintain anything like a podium position, and let's face it, he's never been on the podium before, Jenson Button, that would be a huge payday for the BAR team.
Would indeed, and if you look down the field, who's likely to spoil that for him? I think Raikkonen could. Michael Schumacher ahead of him. Raikkonen is, let's see, Raikkonen is a dozen seconds behind him, but if you look behind that, there's really not anybody to spoil that for Jenson Button, unless it fully dries and the Renaults can come back up to speed. We're now getting in the zone where the Michelin dries will start biting.
Well, you know, if you were the British BAR team and you were Jenson Button, you'd look at it, and the only guy, if it does as you say, dry out, who might give him problems, apart from Raikkonen, is going to be Jarno Trulli, but he's a full 50 seconds behind. So if BAR box clever here, Jenson Button could be set for his first podium.
Yes, indeed. Well, the weather's just taken it all away, really, hasn't it, in the middle of it? This was the dream scenario for Ferrari. Basically, Montoya's now lapping some 9 seconds away from the ultimate pace. There'll be some head-scratching over at Michelin, and Louise is with Olivier Panis.
Yes, Olivier, who has seen both the highs and the lows of Formula One this weekend, haven't you?
Well, I mean, it's really hard for us because we did a fantastic job all weekend. I did a fantastic start to be at second. My strategy on the dry, I want to stop on the lap 19. I think we are very good shape, and I think it started to be rain, and we decide to stop. I don't know if it's good or not, but we decided anyway. And when I go out, the anti-stall came in, and that I don't have to go out very quick. And after that, we lose the plot. And
so once again, it's all gone wrong on race day.
Sorry.
Once again, it's all gone wrong on race day.
Yes, but one time was something going better.
Thanks, Olivier.
Well, we lose the plot, as he said, and they surely did, as Montoya's about to go a lap down on Kimi Raikkonen. Montoya's just exited the pits while we were listening to Olivier Panis, and he has dry tyres on, and they should be just about the ticket anytime soon.
Well, these two are championship rivals. Kimi Raikkonen wants to get on with this, and Montoya is already 2 laps down, so he needs to be careful because there'll be waved blue flags here. He's not allowed to hold up Kimi Raikkonen in this situation.
No, Montoya is down. He should be letting him through, but there should be blue flags waving there. Don't see any sign of wave blue flags. He must, and he does now, let Kimi Raikkonen through. Montoya, as you said, 2 laps behind certainly Michael Schumacher. Why is that? Well, it is because he's had a stop and go, he's been on the wrong tyres, and now he's been lapping very, very slowly.
Well, he's let through also the Renault. McLaren team are out now. Brilliant sunshine in the pit lane here at Indianapolis for Kimi Raikkonen, who is currently in 4th place, coming in presumably for dry tyres, and that's Jenson Button. Oh no, the podium is not going to happen here. The American dream is gone away for Jenson Button. He has stopped just beyond the pit lane exit on the main straight. Can't see why, but that's really frustrating for him.
Ted.
Kimi Raikkonen's wet tyres, absolute slicks now. He really needed to come in, had no choice. I think it's the right move. He'll be fueled to the end of the race now, out again on dry tyres.
Yes, if that 6.7 is true, it's not a lot of fuel. Quite a long way to go still. But Raikkonen then will have to tippy-toe for this first few corners. There's Button steaming BAR. Sadly for him, sadly for us. But good news for Kimi Raikkonen. That surely gives him a shot at 3rd place and would keep the World Championship alive, wouldn't it? Look at that dry line coming on the track now. Michael Schumacher will surely be in quite soon too, but as I said earlier on, the range, the window that his tyres work in, he can go almost down to a full dry track.
Well, if Kimi Raikkonen is able to get ahead of Heinz-Harald Frentzen and Nick Heidfeld, who are behind in front of him, as you can see on the screen, that's very, very confusing picture here at Indianapolis. But if, in the remaining laps here, Raikkonen can get ahead and finish 2nd, the championship will go down to the wire in Suzuka. But that's the only circumstance in which it will, because Montoya is 2 laps down. Hard to imagine how he can score any points or significant points here this afternoon, unless a lot of people in front of him break down.
Yes, Raikkonen's got to